Welcome to Philly Coco presents Side Project Spotlight, episode 79. It's the developer's journey into making cool stuff. I'm Kotaro.
I'm Steve.
And I'm Aaron.
And we are Philly Coco, a Philadelphia-based Coco Heads community focused on Apple development that primarily, but not exclusively, means iOS, Mac, tvOS, watchOS, and visionOS development. Philly Coco's true desire is to take you higher on your own developer journey. Woo! And
Nice.
with that is the last intro for this year, at least.
Yeah,
of
I like
this
the
podcast.
pregnant pause. The last intro. Like, no,
Last intro ever.
no, just for 2024. We're just
for 2024.
We're coming back. We're just taking a holiday break over November and December.
Mm-hmm. Just enjoy family and friends and good times. So
turkey and gifts.
Turkey and
eventually
gifts.
There'll be precipitation, so we'll have water.
And drinks and all the good stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, good.
So this is just going to be our season finale. I guess we're going to do a little bit of retrospective, a little bit of look into the future, and who knows? It's going to be a fun, 40-something-ish minutes. So strap in, everybody.
It's going to be picking quite lightning fast.
It's going to be like the least planned, and it's going to be the most accidental tech podcast you ever heard.
It's more accidental than accidental.
That's right.
All right. So what's our first discussion topic or things that we want to talk about?
Well, this being the end of the year episode, to talk about the year in retrospective. Like, what was your favorite Apple stuff this year? That's an obvious place to start with to warm up with. Start with Kotaro here. You put an interesting one in the notes.
Yeah. So when you gave me the list of things that was possible, like, M4 chip, et cetera, I thought to myself, one of the weirdest things that I actually really want, and I still haven't gotten yet, but it's on my to-do, is to upgrade to an iPhone 16 Pro Max, the big one.
That's crazy. You have a mini.
I have a 12 mini. Like,
yeah.
What is that? Twice the size of the one you have?
15 times as
like literally, I don't know. It's literally like my hand has to expand to be like LeBron James' hand, because look at this thing. This is tiny. This is like imagine I'm holding my phone, but like it's comfortably, the 12 comfortably sits on my hand. The moment I put the 16 Pro Max, I originally thought I was just going to get the 16 Pro, which for the most part I was happy with the idea about it. But then when I tried the Max at the Apple Store, I was thinking, it's not for some reason it fits quite nicely in my hands. I'm not too sure why or how, or for whatever reason, what hardware magic or ID magic.
Just try to reach the top left corner.
Yeah, don't try that unless you have basketball hands or something.
Well, yeah, I gave
up trying to do that with my little hands a long time ago.
At this point, I've given up on the I guess because at I have a work phone, so I'm already now used to the regular size one of an iPhone 15. But
as you know, I have a 14 Pro Max, and I was at the Apple Store over the weekend, and I looked at that 16 Pro Max, and I was like, oh man, I'm so tempted.
No, don't fall for it. Don't fall for it. You can 14 Pro Max is fine.
And a camera button, and its screen is a little bigger, and it's so much faster. It actually does feel faster.
Have you even experimented on that camera button at the store? Did you try it out and see
no,
is this even useful?
It's they're kind of tied down at the store with really short leashes now.
Yeah,
wasn't there? Am I imagining it? Wasn't there a time where you go to an Apple store and nothing was connected to anything? You could just pick stuff up. I feel like maybe it was just in that one room where we used to have meetings at the store.
I mean, they were connected, but that was only for power supply.
Yeah. Well, anyway, it just I feel like I remember a time where it was easier to pick stuff up. I'm trying to look at the iPads and the phones, and such a short leash that you can't really get it up. Yeah. But I like it. I think it looks really cool. And you're right. I mean, maybe it's really debatable whether 14 is worth upgrading. Although that USB-C port is now pretty useful. I saw that I think Rode has a new little wireless microphone setup, which is really nice. It's and it works. You can get a Lightning one, but there's the USB-C one. You could pop in at the bottom of the phone. Really cool.
I feel so stupid for asking, but can you connect an external hard drive to an iPhone now with the USB-C?
Yeah, man, a Pro. Well, I mean, yeah, and especially the Pros.
Okay.
And if you, what I'm not sure about is what can you write to them. I know you could do some kind of log video format to them, but I'm not sure if you can just write anything to them. But yeah, you can obviously just plug in into anything with USB-C, and you'll get different speeds. But you can plug them in and like copy files with the wonderfully designed Files app.
It's
it has
phenomenal.
no bugs or problems whatsoever. It's like
it works flawlessly.
Yeah, but I'm actually at the point now. I'm like, maybe I want USB-C.
Don't do it.
Wait another year? I mean, you're
hold up for another year.
I know. I saved up all the money, and so now I look at it, and it's like a big chunk of money.
You can use that money. You can use that money for a new Mac Mini, which is on that list of.
Oh well, yeah. That is. Well, moving on then. I wasn't sure what I was going to pick. It's between an iPad Mini refresh and a Mac Mini. Okay, I'm going to let Aaron have the Mac Mini if that's his choice. I'm going to go with the iPad Mini because I think the iPad Mini, it's just a refresh this year, but the iPad Mini is the greatest iPad, of course. And it is the perfect iPad in in every way. However, the new one is literally the same as the old one. It's just faster, and so and you're like, oh, that doesn't matter.
Did the old one have a USB-C?
Yeah.
Okay, I wasn't sure.
And so I picked it up. And I was like, oh, this thing. I was like all excited, and then I saw it was just a refresh. Like, I don't really need to buy one. And I pick it up, and I'm like, oh my god, it's significantly faster. Like, just you don't know, man. I use my iPad, and it feels like the Mini that I have is sluggish, and I'm like, it could just be my imagination now, but
which chip
is
the Mini
not
using?
Upgrading either. I'm using the Mini. What chip?
Which chip is your current one?
Oh man, I don't remember.
Is it like an A series or is it an?
Oh, it's an A series. Yeah, they're all A series. The Minis don't get the cool new hardware,
including the current one.
Correct. It gets iPhone 15's chip, I believe.
Interesting. Okay, I didn't know that.
Let's see, iPad Mini 2 versus. Is that what I want? No, I want iPad Mini. I want 2. I went to Apple's compare iPad models page. Defaults iPad Mini 2. Like what? No, no one has that. 5th generation. Okay, let's see. They're almost exactly the same. 15. I guess the newest one is the 7th generation. How many freaking generations of these minis are there?
Well, the iPad is a A14.
Well, anyway, is it an A? It's not A15 Bionic, is it? Or is that the old one?
It's an A14 Bionic. The iPad, not the iPad Mini.
No, the iPad Mini is. I'm trying to figure out what generation iPad Mini is this?
This is an A17 Pro chip.
Okay,
That's
so they're
pretty nice.
Their comparison page that I found doesn't actually show the right thing. But yeah, so I think the old one was the A15 Bionic, and the new one is what, like the Pro? It's the iPhone 15, right? Chip, something like that.
Sure.
Yeah, something like that. Anyway, it's not the latest and greatest A series chip, but it's pretty good. Mm-hmm. And it is significantly faster, so I like it. The iPad Mini is, at least it's still alive. That's all we can say. And I don't know if the jelly scroll really fixed.
How are you going to justify?
I'm not
this cost. What are you going to use? What are you going to build for it? What is the product you're going to make that's going to make you money?
Well, it is the cheapest way to get Apple Intelligence if you don't want to buy an iPhone like me. I'm in the situation. If I buy an iPhone, it's probably not worth it. But
yeah, probably not.
I don't. But yeah, so iPad Mini refresh. How about you, Aaron?
You're talking about recent products, or
2024 products. Any 2024 which is hard because we're in a lot.
Remember, the Vision Pro came out this year.
Did it come out this year? The Vision is that what it is? Well, we don't even have that as a product, as like on the list.
No. Yeah. I put it in there as a separate item. I said Vision Pro, flop or the future, because I knew it. I knew this was going to happen, where we were just going to forget about it. Because, like, I don't know, Aaron. You go on and tell me about why the Vision Pro is your favorite product.
I don't know if it's just that it's something new, but I haven't got to use it that much. So,
Well, I don't own it yet, so that's why I forgot about it.
I've been keeping it under lock and key in the in the bin in the office, but it's tough because like that product is it's so specific to one person's, technically their face or their eye, right? Like
it's like an iPad for your face in that respect.
Yeah,
it's just tied to one person, even though it could be theoretically shared.
It theoretically can be shared by two, realistically. Although we haven't really tested it out at work, but like,
although
it's not
the eye.
right.
If you have glasses or something, it makes it more difficult.
Oh, it's almost near impossible. But
yeah, I'm waiting for the next version that's cheaper.
There is something to be and crappier in some ways, right?
Hopefully, only in that they get rid of the eyes.
The googly eyes on the outside.
Well, they said they're going to.
It was the episode we talked about that. I don't remember which one it was, but you hated those eyes so much.
It does, like, I remember one of my coworkers like, every time I see you put that thing on, it makes me want to punch you. I was like, come on.
It's the return of glass holes. What is the equivalent for Vision Pro?
Vision hole?
Vision Bros?
Vision Bro. Yeah, that would be
Vision Bro and glass holes. Yeah.
I mean,
Vision
the thing
Bros.
is, like, the funny thing about it is, like, Vision Pro is it's one of those weird products where by itself is a fine product as long as you're not walking outside with it.
Which you're not supposed to.
No, and
it's not designed for that.
And it's a very fair statement to say it is not meant for the general consumer to use. It is meant for it is a dev kit, because in a way, it's a lot of ways it's like the Watch OS Series 0. Like it was basically like they thought it was one thing and it'll evolve into something else.
However,
except they haven't figured out what that is yet.
Yes. But now is Apple just now taking this as like a face-saving approach, kind of admitting that it's just a dev kit, or was that their intention? I think the intention was to sell a bunch of them and make money. And yet no one really bought them, which should not have been a surprise because of how expensive they are. But now it feels like Apple is pulling back a little bit on the Vision Pro as a product and treating it more like a glimpse of the future.
I think that's a fair statement.
I mean, I just could be making it up, but I mean, you know what I mean? I think it was always a mix of both. But I think they had higher hopes for it making a splash as a product, and maybe now they're like, okay.
Unlike Meta's glimpse of the future, you can actually buy it.
Yes, that's true. Burn on Meta there. Yeah, I saw that Meta thing where you have all these reporters get to have these demos and stuff for a product. It's like, what is it, $10,000 or $20,000 per headset, and no one's ever going to buy it. And it's like, what is the purpose of this other than weird propaganda? Like okay, it's cool, but like
it's well, I mean, it is a play to, I don't know, shareholders or whatever. It says we're still committed to this.
Oh yeah,
this space, right? And I feel like the Vision Pro, or at least the way I'm seeing some of these updates to the Vision OS, particularly the public beta, I haven't tested that whole ultra wide screens thing yet because I just upgraded to the latest beta.
I saw some articles said that was the killer app for Vision Pro, which I'm like, I'm sorry, but I can get an ultra wide monitor for less money than a Vision Pro. So
once you can split the monitor,
take it on a plane.
Oh right, you can take my ultra wide monitor on a plane. There you go. Because I fly so often. I think last time I flew was like a decade ago.
I mean, there are definitely a lot of key flaws with Pro, right? You have to carry this. You have to carry this big battery pack with you, so they have to figure that issue out. You have to. It does get hot over a period of time depending on what you're doing. So if you're watching a movie, for example, that can
it does.
That can get a little bit
uncomfortable on your forehead or like
face. Yeah.
Do you ever wonder about how much radiation is being pumped directly through your eyeballs into your brain?
I don't know. I'll find out. I'll find out in 10 years. Like, oh man,
the people that are afraid of like Wi-Fi and signals and cell phone signals, I mean, they should be terrified of this thing.
Well, thankfully they don't have to buy it.
I know, that's great.
The barrier of entry in terms of cost is just ludicrous. I mean,
but
unrealistic, but ludicrous nonetheless.
Yeah, the battery thing is a good point because some of the competitors, like Facebook's one, I think it's integrated. into the glasses, and so is the Snaps one, right? The Snapchat one. I think they're like in the glasses somewhere, so it makes it like heavier.
One thing
But
I will
Facebook
say,
is really innovative though with the way they control it, and they have like a separate computing unit, almost like you could have, I don't know, like a phone in your pocket, and then the phone could power a lighter weight pair of glasses to give you an experience that's useful, but doesn't cost like as much as a used car used to cost before the pandemic.
yeah,
I always have to say that because used car prices are insane. Every time I look at them, they used to be
Oh
like
my goodness.
$4,000. Now they're like 15.
I mean, one thing I will re-emphasize about the Vision Pro that is interesting is that it is probably one of the first real user interface design paradigm shifts that I've seen in a long time. I mean, we can make that same argument about AR, VR, that kind of experience, but when I talk about this idea way back when about that epiphany about like you're getting yourself outside this rectangle. This rectangle has been with us since like practically the beginning of time, but in the case of computers, always been the case, right? You're just looking at a computer screen, you're looking at a phone, you're looking at some kind of rectangular interface, right? This is probably one of the first times I could think of like I'm not constrained by that space anymore. Like I don't have to look at a monitor. I can look at 20 monitors if I want to. I can look at a 3D model or 3D visualization with my monitor with a ghost of Steven's past share
Scary.
playing that with me right next to me as if he was right beside me. Yeah, granted, creepy, but the idea is that this is kind of the first real like Iron Man feeling moment of like, oh, like I can now see all this sort of like stuff that you only saw in like sci-fi, like Star Wars or something, right? Where you had the holographic 3D visualization. Granted, you still need the goggles to see it, but the point being is that it immerses you in that space to say, oh, this is how it could look.
So I mean, so as much as I rag on it because it's expensive, it is the first really exciting new product from a developer perspective, like brand new kind of UI paradigm to experiment. My only issue with it is the cost. I mean, I would have one and play with it if it didn't cost so much. And I'm really with Aaron that I really hope, I don't care if it's like lower fidelity or whatever, if it has the same core experience, like the same APIs and such, you would use, if it could just be significantly cheaper. I'm afraid that significantly cheaper is still going to be like the cost of a MacBook, which is still a lot. But
here's the funny part: the framework itself is like, even at its current state, which is somewhat it's not an experience where like as a Unity developer you're coming in like, oh, this is great. It's actually kind of reduced, but once you get the hang of it, it's actually probably one of the best frameworks you can have to developing an app on that in that space.
Yeah, but Unity is, or the
no, well, Unity's not that great, but that was like,
so you mean like the native APIs?
Yeah, but because the thing is, like, you have to look at it from a game developer point of view now, and I think that's where in the future, in this coming year, hopefully we'll get better tooling for that. But I think this year is really spent. Really, iOS developers are like trying to figure it out, because like this is completely, again, outside that rectangle. They don't have that frame of mind.
Yeah, and this is why I might still end up trying to buy. Maybe I could try to find a used one or something. That's pretty dangerous. I never buy used Apple products. I'm afraid they're gonna be locked to some Apple ID, then I'm screwed. But it's like can I rent one? It's just so much money, so much money. Unless you have some way to use it to make money. Like, it's just, at this point, it feels like it's still just a luxury toy.
Yes.
Or you're really investing in the future. Like, you really believe that this, in the not too distant future, is going to be the future of the platform. And then it makes total sense to buy into it and do it. But it's not going to have an immediate payoff from what I can tell. Because did anyone make a lot of money off of it yet?
No. Let me rephrase that. I don't know of any success stories with it, but In particular,
Yeah.
I've heard quite the opposite, right? Like even big companies,
geez.
like the numbers are horrible.
Oh,
But
that's
the
disappointing.
the thing that I think about a lot is like the vertical market, meaning people who stand up all day, walking around, factory workers, that kind of stuff, or manufacturing
People with
people who
standing
manage.
desks.
Yes, standing desk is one thing, but like, let's say for example, your workload is like, if you could figure out a way, like
The Amazon employees.
the Amazon employees. I mean, even like the Wall Street trader types, right, where they have thousands of dashboards and a variety of permutations,
Oh
right?
yeah, right.
Like imagine like having all the tooling all virtual, and you can do it on the airplane in your
that's why the
first class,
screen-
in your first class, in your first class seat.
Yeah, the first class seat. You're right. You're definitely in business class at least.
Because
You know?
you're the idea behind it in that sense is like it immerses you in that world, right?
Yeah.
But also gives you the tools to have that's not constrained by like, oh, I have a set, the set amount of monitors or a set amount of controls.
Yeah. Although how it's just, even if it was lighter and more comfortable, I don't know how much I like the idea of having something on my face all the time.
Yeah.
I feel
not,
like, I don't know. We've had this discussion a bunch of times about the future and whether these face devices are going to be the thing. I just think there's a lot of problems that you can't overcome with them, and just comes down to like, are people literally going to wear these all the time? How I wear sunglasses outside all the time, but like they're never going to make them, light enough to replace sunglasses all the time, right? Like that seems unlikely. That like there might be some variant of like simplified version, but you're not going to get the Vision Pro down to that anytime soon,
no,
if ever.
no.
So it's like, how am I going to wear these? At least the Google Glass concept was like this kind of small thing. It kind of was like right there. You could theoretically see yourself maybe getting an attachment. I don't know. I feel like anything on your face is just like a big deal. It's a big deal.
I kind of had hoped that you would kind of go with like the sort of like the AirPod Max approach, where like a lot of the hardware stuff would be either here and then maybe like a strap behind you.
Oh, right. Well, that's how a lot of
there'd be a goggle here or glasses here that would be kind of like the sort of like you can put it up like a what do you call it, like a headband?
Yeah,
you bring it down. I mean,
or remember Back to the Future Part 2, where they have the goggles that hang around their neck, and then he's brought up the goggles when the phone was ringing.
Oh,
like Marty's
okay.
kid at the table. But it's again, Back to the Future Part 2 predicted the future better than like most movies. It's a little early reference. In the timeline, but yeah. So anyway, Vision Pro, flopper future, a little of both, I guess. The current device is a bit of a flop this year, but the technology is awesome, and I do think it is something to pay attention to.
I will say, like typical Apple, at least modern Apple, the first version is not going to be as big of a hit as like the fourth version. I would hold off like judgment until we get to version 4.
I mean, like,
I don't know.
It's pretty old now. Maybe Aaron will get there, but
yeah, Aaron will get it, and then he'll be like, "Here you go, Granny."
Yeah, Granny. Grandpa. We're gonna be grandpas.
Grandpa. But yeah. So I don't know. I so that if we're going by the basics cycles of like maybe like a Mac Pro cycle, we can expect a new Vision Pro every 2.5 years, right? And then so what is that? That'll get us so in 6, possibly 8 years, we will have the Vision Pro of our dreams.
Nice.
But until then,
well, when they upgrade this thing,
conversation,
yeah, I think just the upgrade with like an M4 processor would actually be a pretty significant bump from looking at the testing of the current
rumors said they were going to do one for the M5.
Or M5. I mean, like something like that is going to be a big performance jump, even if the hardware doesn't change, and that might make it more appealing.
I'm waiting for a significant increase in the field of view.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know if you're going to get that. You're just going to have to get used to looking at the world as if you're wearing welder goggles.
You just get a Vision Pro, but wider.
That actually, is wider on the. I think the Facebook demo units were like wider, right? Weren't they? A little bit. I think everything is basically
I don't
wider.
know. I think that the thing that's actually kind of funny is like some people would take off the shield, and that actually, I think for some reason they said that actually improved their field, their
Still worked.
field of
See
view.
enough light bleed.
I
That's
mean,
interesting.
you get you still you get the light bleeding for sure, but the thing is, like, that actually supposedly made it feel lighter as well as like an improved the field of view.
I
At
don't know
least,
because I haven't bought one yet because it's a lot of money. But we'll see. We'll see. Moving on though from that, we still have a lot of other stuff in this list. What do you want to tackle next? Any more retrospectives, or do you want to move to the future?
let's I guess we can talk about sort of like any apps that we have any particular
Okay.
feelings
Favorite apps.
for.
Kotaro. What's
Yes.
your favorite app?
I don't know if it's my favorite. I think it's a lot of recency biased, but Pixquare is one
Pixquare, which you've
where,
mentioned a bunch of times before.
yeah, it's kind of like it's like Procreate for pixel art. I just found it to be really nice and useful. Not only can I draw, it's for the iPhone and the iPad. It's about the same price as Procreate, maybe even a little bit cheaper.
Was that released new this year or close?
Yeah, it was relatively new. And it's developed by one guy, Sung Nguyen. So it's an indie developer, and I think he probably used a lot of the source code from Aspire, which is an open source pixel art Mac app, or I'm sorry, like Mac PC app. The thing is, like, that app never built a version for iPad, so this actually was like, okay, I want to support that app, but I already have Pixin, which is a Mac iPad app. It's kind of weird. Like, it's like I have two pixel art apps. One is for the Mac and the iPad, and then the other one is for the iPad and the iPhone. So there's like this weird cross. They're both really good apps. I think Pixquare kind of leans in a lot on the pixel art, so a lot of their UI is a pixel art. Is like in pixel art, so it's a very like bespoke UI versus like Pixin is like a Mac app with all the Mac components, with all the Mac apps. They're both perfectly fine. They work wonderfully. So if you're into pixel art or pixel animation as well, I like both of them. So that's my app of 2024.
Nice. Well, my app is technically was released in December of 2023, but it was like a few weeks shy of 2024, and it was in production for I don't know how many years. That was OmniFocus 4.
Yep.
Which is not an indie app, but we love the Omni Group. At least I do.
Yes.
And the reason I guess I'm saying is because I've been going through this journey last few months to, like, figure out how to organize, my life and reevaluating things. And part of that process is coming up with, like, how do I want to do my work processes? How do I want to do? And right now I'm like, how do I want to do my home stuff? And OmniFocus was always a tool that I used a lot in the past. I had version 3. OmniFocus 4 is also big because it was a Swift UI rewrite.
Oh, interesting.
Which was a big deal, and I think it caused a lot of teething problems. But
I can imagine.
It may not have the maybe the slickest user interface from the perspective of compared to a lot of its competitors, but I've used lots of these to-do tools, and this thing basically has every freaking feature under the sun you might want. So it's like customizable for anybody. The only thing it doesn't have is like a Kanban board UI, which maybe they'll add that someday. And no collaborative stuff. So that's the other downside. So you like Todoist has that, but it's a classic Mac app, and now it's on all the platforms. We talked about their innovative pricing system, subscriptions. They have great rock solid sync, and I just thought it was cool that when it came out, there was a Swift UI thing, and they really made it a lot more efficient to use it, especially on the iPhone with the way they changed the interface. You can just like get to things without so many taps and waiting for drill down on screens like traditional iOS app. So anyway, OmniFocus 4, technically 2023, but I'm gonna let it slide.
It's your
right into
podcast.
2024. It's my podcast, and so I use that app every day. And so there you go, OmniFocus 4. Now, do you have any favorite apps that kind of sort of were out 2024, Aaron?
No, I don't think so. I just don't use any apps. All the apps
An
I
app
use are-
developer that doesn't use any apps.
Yeah.
Oh my god, I'm
Yeah.
clipping that one. I don't use any apps.
That's
I'm on an
well,
app
you know,
podcast. I don't use any apps.
it is sort of funny. There is this sort of I don't know if it's how true it is, but like a lot of game developers don't really play a lot. Like there there's this weird thing where like game developers make games but don't play a lot of games. Or don't play them as like religiously as
Was there like a
gamers
point
do.
release of Strava? Use that, don't you?
Yeah. It's-
You like that?
no,
so-
right. It's they put AI stuff in it, and it's terrible.
Oh,
Okay, that's a
all
good
right,
that's
well,
a good
that's
one.
a good segue.
I do have AI slop in everything as a
Yes.
topic for 2024.
Is
You
it
want
a
to talk about
topic
that
for
briefly?
2024? I mean, so we are deep as of right now. We are
We're
deep
into the AI.
cycle. Like this
Yes.
is this new tech cycle. VCs are tripping over themselves to throw money at you if you have anything remotely AI specific. Your stock will go down if you don't say anything AI. Even Apple's even Apple's affected by it with all this Apple Intelligence stuff.
Yeah, I mean, this is the year. I feel like
feel about
2024, man. 2023 was that with ChatGPT really got mainstream? Was that 2023?
I think that was when it was beginning to like the hype cycle was beginning
But
to happen.
this is the year the hype cycle went to the moon. Like this is the year where the hype cycle went crazy and like literally the AI slop invaded everytheven. The AI, all the things happened.
There's AI in Airbnb. There's AI in Redfin.
Even Apple released AI stuff now. So
sure,
it's everywhere. It's everywhere.
Now, the question is, like, now that we're in it, how do we feel about it?
I find limited utility in a lot of this stuff. I feel like there's a couple thoughts I have about it. There's when I say AI slop, I mean like AI slop, like written and images and video just created with these tools that are just everywhere. And they're usually garbage and Apple has its own image generator now.
This is
you'll be able to
high quality artwork, man. Look at that.
Oh my god! I still think it looks better than a Dub DC, but it looks pretty.
I mean,
lame.
I'm looking at the image playground, and I'm playing with it right now. I'm showing everybody. I guess it's
still beta.
I don't know if it still says beta. Now,
not having any device with it that works with Apple Intelligence means I have no idea what's out.
So I'm playing with this on my iPad Pro, M1 Pro, and now the combination is my face plus the sunglasses, vampire, and race car driver. You can actually pick different topics that you can add to it. So like I can add like hard hat, birthday, fantasy. Yeah, they give you like these sort of like items of things you can. Oh, I can't do it. But like they give you like items of things you can add. So like if I put superhero, it like adds it as a tag.
Put it up in front of your face. It might work because.
Right. Well, the funny thing is like now but like this that thing there, like that actually was already like I added something and it still just defaulted to something that I already had. So all right, it was shown. So it's not particularly extensive, at least the model isn't.
I don't know if you used much of the AI. I used a little bit of the writing tools that Apple Intelligence released on my M1 Max laptop, and it's just garbage. And it's like, and the notification summaries are just garbage. And yeah, it's exactly what I thought. It's the only thing about Apple Intelligence I care about is the Siri and intent stuff. Like if they can just get that. To get the universal UI we've talked about many times, we can just be able to give my devices a voice command and have it activate the correct app on my phone to do something and present the UI or just do the thing in the background, whatever. That to me is potentially very useful, like a real step change in utility and functionality and an opportunity for indie developers, I think, too, because it brings back the idea of making smaller apps, which is something that's more in the ballpark of an indie developer, and being able to have them be used by people. And So that's the thing. I don't care about this stuff. I don't care about the writing tools because I write better than a computer can, and it just makes everything. I tried using it to summarize something just for fun, and it made it worse. I was like, this is not helping me.
I mean,
I
I
don't think
guess
it,
like anything with
you know.
repetitive tasks or that has large enough of a model, like a large enough of a data set that the model can like sort of like
Yeah, it can regurgitate the average of all of the crap in the model.
yeah.
That's my thing. It has there's no personality. Even if you tell it to have a personality, it's just like a personality as if you just because it's what it was. You took a bunch of stuff and put it in a blender and you evened it out into a quote unquote personality. It's just I don't understand why people find the stuff appealing.
It's weird because like when at like I hear like particularly at work you always get like, oh, this is great utility, this helped me become a 10x, like normally this would take me in like 3 days, I got this done in like half a day,
How would
etc
you know
etc.
that? Like we can't it's like it's a known thing that you can't estimate software projects reliably. So like how would you know after the fact that it saved you time?
You know what I need? You know what's funny?
No.
There's not one time that I think about it would be great if Jira if they had like
Yeah.
I never hear anything AI specific around Jira. Can you like
Can we put a chatbot in Jira to make my Jira even more annoying?
No, I want Jira to write my ticket. I just want to say, Jira, listen, this is the summary. I need to get this thing done in like
put it
2
into
weeks.
the format that we have for our tickets. That's the kind of thing it's somewhat useful for. It could be
create a format of these tickets, create the tickets, and then make it so it looks great to my project manager or the higher ups, and then like I'll tell you when I've finished something, and then you can just do all those things, all the updates in the Kanban board or whatever. Do those things for me.
I'll say the types of writing tasks, things that are the stuff's useful for, are like those kind of perfunctory things, especially things that have a defined format. They're not. It's not about being creative or anything. It's just about like it's standard format information exchange, or you're responding to your dentist appointment reminder, something like that. Like you don't. That I could see that being somewhat helpful to automate, but I don't want to automate my writing in general because writing is thinking, and then you're just outsourcing your thinking to a bot. Like that doesn't sound like a good idea.
I think the one thing that I don't know why. I mean, correct. Tell me if you don't feel this way, but I think one of the things I noticed more than not these days is like if somebody says, "Oh, this was AI generated," right? This content, whatever it is.
Yeah.
There's automatically this notion in the person who heard this is like, "Oh, this is cheap. This is like a cheaply done thing," right?
Yeah.
There's like to me, I feel like there's an instinctual bias from the people who actually consume it. It's like, "Oh, this is trash," because
because almost all of it is like very, very few people go through the effort and like doing multiple rounds or adding their own individual efforts into it. I mean, that's what I mean by the slop. It's not even just that all the AI tools and quote only create slop. It's that a lot of these tools create slop. People use them to create slop, and there's so much out there that it overwhelms the quality stuff that people build using these tools. Because as I said, I rag on AI quote unquote stuff all the time because I think it is overhyped, and I do think that there's dangers in over reliance on these automation tools. And I think it's bizarre that people believe that they're thinking and that kind of stuff. That's strange. But they have some utility. It's straight like people honestly seem to think that an LLM can think in some way, and I'm like, what? Like it's stop. But but there are also people though that I've seen even from the early days of these tools that were making interesting like art, for instance. But the amount of effort put into it and careful like lots of iterations and it was like there was some more effort and ability that was required in order to make the tools work. But I mean, most people aren't doing that. They're just putting in like a little prompt, be like, make Kotaro in an astronaut outfit on the moon, and then they just take whatever comes out of it.
Right, and a lot of it was like, okay, knowing what to prompt it was part of the trick. So you had to say, okay, it had to be using this particular camera lens, this particular. You had to know the context of like what would actually make it look good. You have to do it.
And now I'm not. I mean, yeah, look good again. It's like
Mhm.
the aesthetics of the homogenized internet. I mean, like that's what you get out of these things. I don't think they look good. I don't find most of the stuff
It
looks good.
encourages mediocrity, but then when you have something that looks sophisticated,
Yeah, it looks
it's almost
sophisticated. That's the thing,
it's almost shocking when somebody says, it becomes in like it becomes less of the norm of when somebody says, "Oh, this looks great," and then their instinct is, "Did you do this through an LLM? Right? Did you?
Yeah, or
This is an AI generated thing," and it's like, "No, I
But
spent my time making this thing."
yeah,
And then they're like,
but
"Oh, wow."
I mean, it's not like I haven't used it. I use this stuff for low effort,
Sure,
things like
low effort's
thumbnails and stuff
fine.
like that.
Yeah,
And they automate that, and I think the fear is it gets to the point where to the layman, it's indistinguishable from quality art because most people have no taste to begin with.
sure.
So how they're going to see something that looks quote unquote sophisticated and be like, oh, that's awesome art. That's what art is, even though it's like actually philosophically and aesthetically awful, but they just don't realize it. So and
Yeah.
you're going to just have all this stuff that's out there in the world that's generated by these tools that's technically terrible, but no one can even tell. And I don't know what kind of dystopia that is.
I mean, I guess it's a question of like how much does self-expression really matter to you. So I think even
Well, that's the
if I
argument.
drew, even I don't proclaim to be the best artist at all, but at least
I
I
can draw
feel
stick
like
figures like like a boss. That's what I can do.
sure, but at least it's your stick figure, right? Like
Yeah.
you know how you made that stick figure. You know what moment of mood you were in. You know what music you were playing when you were making that art.
The amount of pressure on my ballpoint pen.
Sure, exactly. No, but
To draw.
you joke about. I mean, we joke about it, but the whole part of the making art is the process and and then there's a fulfillment in that nobody's going to understand unless they actually have done it, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah. I mean, so it's like a lot of people like me have no real artistic ability could use these tools to make stuff that passes.
no, that's not true because you spend a lot of time on your photography. You understand how
I'm not
it's
using
composed.
it for photography.
No.
Yeah, that's true. But
right, but that's
I guess I can see your point.
Art.
I see your point. If you're if I spend the effort to tell the machine like enough detail to mimic, like as if I haven't tried that, to tell it to like mimic me shooting the photo of a thing. I should try that. I want to see. Maybe I can get something good out of it that way because I haven't actually tried that on any of these tools. But like, say I'm using this lens and try to frame the composition stuff. I wonder if that would help.
But even
Probably.
still, like the fact that you went out there to this venue, you waited for the moment that it was like, okay, this is going to be, and you composed it and you framed it, and then you went back home or you went on your iPhone and you went up, tweaked it and you edited it and you made sure which one to pick. Like that is something that is bespoke to you and only you, right?
And there's whole areas of photography that are being replaced by these tools, like and that's it. Not event photography. Well, I mean, I guess maybe you could fake an event, but I mean, like, it's just
all the wedding photographers are gonna like.
No, not that. Not wedding photographers or events. Like, but the what's the name? The like the B-roll stuff for video and photos. That stuff's all being taken over by this stuff. So anyway, it's been a hype cycle, pluses and minuses. We're entering a dystopia, I think, of AI slop burying us. We'll see. Maybe we'll dig out of it.
The way I'm looking at it is that what is ultimately going to come back is this desire for authenticity of people making like the people who made their stuff, regardless of the quality. The fact that you did it was the whole point.
Yeah, we should put a badge on our logo here, 100% AI free. Because we didn't do any AI in this episode. But Apple Intelligence specifically, as I said, I'm interested in the automation tools. Like I haven't seen anything yet. That's what I want to do. Like I think putting aside the flashy stuff, image generation, the tech stuff, being able to tell your phone to do something, have it run the right feature of the right app that you installed yourself to do the thing, or maybe put together workflows and shortcuts app and have them work more efficiently, which you can already kind of do to a point. But I mean, like having, if you can get the context aware Siri stuff to work and the intents to work as kind of envisioned in the dub video about it, I think that's useful. I think it could be very useful. And then you apply that and you upscale that to a Mac, and you could do maybe more sophisticated workflows. Being able to like use software, and we see this a little bit popping up. I think Adobe has stuff in there where you're like in Photoshop working on something, and then you can bring up a little prompt and like type something and have it do whatever. Like that,
Sure.
that's what we should be able to do. Sometimes it's easier, or sometimes you just want to describe what you need done, and then have the computer kind of do it, or at least show you how to do it. And you get this in the software development where like I get some utility out of it, not a lot, but some, by like telling like Copilot, something like, refactor this, or because I can't remember some Swift UI thing. Sometimes you're like, how do you do this animation thing? And then it'll give me something that's sort of right and it's like close enough, and then I'll figure it out. Stuff like that, or generating the text. But from an everyday perspective, I think the really cool thing will be people sitting at their computer and then being like, "Hey, Dingus, add this to my calendar for next Thursday. I don't know, in the afternoon sometime, and make sure that Jimmy is added on there, and then in put a link to google.com in there, and then make sure the description says blah blah blah." And it's like, if you could just kind of talk to it like that, and then have it add something to your calendar accurately, that'd be huge. That'd be like Star Trek Next Generation computer level. Magic.
You mean Dingus can't do that now?
Not reliably, no. Unfortunately, I've tried. It's like
I haven't really pushed Dingus that hard, so maybe I should.
I mean, sometimes it works, and it's like, oh, great, and then other times it's like, no, I'm sorry. What did you say?
I mean, the ratio of times of success versus failure for asking Dingus anything.
I can't even get Dingus to add things to a playlist reliably in my car. It'll just be like, oh, I'm sorry, something went wrong. What went wrong? I just asked you to add something to a playlist. What went wrong? You have an internet connection. You're streaming audio right now. What went wrong? It can't tell me. It just doesn't work.
I've asked Dingus lately. I've been asking like, oh, turn off the timer, and Dingus is like, nope.
No. Yeah, no, right. But since it was released, since the Dingus product was released, I've been excited about it, and I've always been hopeful that it will eventually live up to the hype.
Sure.
Maybe 2025 will be that, because it doesn't look like it's coming out this year. I don't think any of that stuff's coming out yet until next year, right?
Yeah. Well, remember with Apple, everything comes in like it's like version 4. So
version 4.
So if we're talking about Apple Intelligence, I don't expect. So
okay.
Where are we calling Apple Intelligence in terms of like version 1? Because it's not even
version
like
1 yet.
Beta. Right.
It's not even version 1 yet.
So let's assume, horribly, but let's assume that next June, 2025, WWDC, they will have said all version 1. Like, we're out of beta. We're in the money now. Right.
I think they're just gonna release things as chunks of functionality. I don't think they're actually gonna call it 1.0.
Yeah, I don't think that. But the point being is like they're gonna remove the beta label out by then. And then they're going to expose APIs that are actually useful.
Yeah. So that's good. It's a good segue to the last part, because we're running out of time. Sure. Looking forward to 2025. I mean, as I think I kind of already indicated, I'm looking forward to Apple Intelligence Siri integration. I hope that actually lives up even to half the hype, 50% of the hype. That would be pretty amazing. I just want the experience that I saw, the on Star Trek Next Generation, when Captain Picard talks to his computer and it just kind of does what he asks. Or
computer.
Yes. Better example though, all those scenes in Next Gen where they're sitting there typing on the touch screen, which is very ahead of its time. They're typing on a touch screen, doing things, or seeing some stuff on the screen, and then they're like, oh, computer, analyze this with this algorithm, whatever. They just tell it to do something else with this thing on the screen, and then it just goes blah, 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 and it does its thing. That's what I want my computer. I want the multimodal interface where I don't want to always be using voice. I don't want to have to try to program with a vague description of something. No, you use the right tool for the job. But sometimes, you just want to give it a more vague command and have it work, or just add something to what the workflow you're in without breaking the flow, or without needing to figure out 15 different user interfaces for stuff. And I think that is hopefully the future. a more universal UI, as we talked about. And then that also, I think, gives opportunities for software developers to plug in the functionality. If there's more little places in all kinds of individualized workflows for your app to then add some functionality, that is an opportunity for you to sell something.
Sure.
So that's my hope anyway. I don't know if maybe it means you sell something for a nickel, but a nickel is better than nothing because
Sure.
enough nickels and you can buy a studio display. Although the Apple Store may not accept the cash. So I don't know if you can carry that many nickels, but pretty heavy.
All right, what about you, Aaron? What are you looking for 2025? Any new tech or anything, vibe, anything?
See what that iPhone 17
Yes.
looks like.
The thin one, the rumored thin one, or just in general?
Yeah,
affordable one
says looks like I'm going to hold off on this 16 generation.
I'm going to try to hold off.
Yeah. I took off my case that was falling apart from my 14, and now it's like a new phone. So
yeah,
I need a new one.
It is nice and shiny when you take the case off.
Okay. So I guess for me, I'll say that I'm hoping that this indie vibe thing that I feel,
yes,
there's no real validation or verification on this thing, no scientific research on it, but I feel like it's beginning to happen where people are excited to work on their own projects, their own opportunities. That hopefully that will begin to happen again or continue in terms of like one of the things that I want to see more of is more side projects, more experimental apps. I think one of the things I really at least want to explore is hopefully like apps that are more prosumer. And
yes,
and I feel like now that Pixelmator recently got bought.
I believe it's pronounced Pixelmator.
Oh, I'm sorry, Pixelmator. I've been saying it wrong this whole time.
No, does anybody get that joke? That's from an old Gruber article.
Is that a Target joke?
No. Oh man, no! It's the talk show with John Gruber. I think one time when he had, I think Pixelmator was a sponsor or something. He pronounced it Pixelmator, like one episode.
All right, so I would love to see in place of Pixelmator something new come into the market, and a whole new generation of indie developers coming in and filling that space.
I don't want them to take. I want to be one of those. The kids will be behind me.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I count as that. It's not going by age. Okay, good. I don't want the youngsters that kick me out before I even got started. No, you're right. Absolutely right.
They've moved on to the AI hype, so we don't have. We
have some breathing room to find boring products that make money
that actually work.
Actually work.
So yeah, I think that's good. I think I'm with you. I'm really excited for 2025, the year of indie vibes.
All right, cool. Well, with that, that's all we have for today. There you can learn more about Philly Cocoa at phillycocoa.org. There you'll find links to our Slack group, meetup schedule, and contact info. If you're feeling generous, leave a review on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or whatever your podcast platform of choice is, and share us with all your developer friends. And one more thing. All right, I'm bringing it back last again. Happy Scale, our favorite indie app. Yes. Dieting is hard enough, but when you work hard, hop on that scale and see a number that's higher than yesterday, well, that's not fair. Happy Scale smooths out your daily scales weights and makes insightful predictions of when you hit your goal. Join the hundreds of thousands of users that use Happy Scale to tame the scale. Download from the App Store.
It's very nice reading of the website.
Damn it.
Remember,
don't out me.
Happy Scale is not actually a sponsor. We just like Happy Scale.
Yes.
So we're just and I'll just give my spiel as usual that I use Happy Scale every day. And recently I have been making some more significant progress in my weight loss my journey here. I've been losing more weight recently, and it's nice to see that like little graph go down, and then you can kind of look at the prediction line. And then you can look at that and imagine, oh wait, maybe I will be able to wear a swimsuit by summer or something like that.
Does it have predictions? Does it have AI
It has a
predictions?
prediction, like it has a graph on the line. You can have it extend the prediction line into the future.
Oh,
So of
interesting.
course it's not going to be super accurate, in the future, but it gives you like a line. It tells you like the date you'll hit your goal
Does
if
it have
you
like, does it
continue with the
have
current
like
pace.
does it have like ways to like what do you call those things where it's like it gives like a little bit of leeway, the fact that it's like November and December, so like it knows to be like, you know what, those are 2 dangerous months, and I doubt you're gonna hit your goals there.
It doesn't have. I don't think that's an exact feature, but it does have different models for smoothing the lines out.
So does it have like predictors based on prior behavior?
I mean, it's all based upon your trend. You can set like milestones. Like I have a bunch of milestones set up because one of the things we all know about trying to do something difficult is you break it up into little pieces and you just like software. And the same thing with like weight loss. You want to break it up into little journeys. Like maybe you're saying, I'm going to lose 5 pounds a month or whatever, or 5 pounds every 2 weeks or whatever like that. Well, in Happy Scale, you just a couple options to set up how it breaks up the milestones. And then there's a little meter in there. It tells you how close you are to the next milestone. And it just gives you that little bit of encouragement when you look at it every day when you record your weight. Say, hey, I'm getting closer.
So you shouldn't do it how they do it in The Biggest Loser.
What is that? How they do that?
Oh, you don't know that reality show?
I've never watched the show.
It's horrible. It's basically like they try to lose, like they have people who weigh in 300 pounds, like morbidly obese, and they're trying to like lose this weight in like 6 months or something absurd.
I mean, I am trying to lose weight quickly, but I mean, it's
yeah, don't do that. Don't do their style.
I'm not doing it the way they're doing it.
No.
I'm doing it like diet, proper healthy food, healthy eating, and exercising. So
yes, the right way.
So yeah, Happy Scale. I highly recommend it. It's a great app, and I use it every day.
Excellent. Well, till next time, good luck on your own developer journey. We will cheer for you always.
I just don't use any apps.